Hello aspirants, welcome to this new video. I want you to all listen this carefully. This is a very important, a kind of strategy video which will be necessary for most of the aspirants preparing for UPSC Civil Service examination and aspiring to appear in the next 6 months, that is May 28, 2023. So in this video I'm trying to give you a template and approach that how you should go about the next 6 months for UPSC Civil Service examination. Okay, if you like this initiative, like and subscribe to my channel and share your comments with your reviews. Okay, let's move ahead. So what are the possible questions that you all can have at this point of time in your mind? I'll try to go as slow as possible in this video because this is important and critical. I'll put timestamps in the video description so you can move forward and backward whenever you want and however you like. Okay, so let's go ahead. What are the possible questions that you can have in your mind? First, how to ensure integrated preparation, and more important than that, what is integrated preparation exactly, how it looks like, that we'll talk about. Then how much time should be given to mains and prelims preparation. Now this is a very critical question that every aspirant go through. Now my day looks like 100% day. How many hours it can be? Let us assume it is 100% day. Then how much time should go for mains preparation, prelims preparation, and how it should be managed? This can be the question in your mind. Which subjects should be completed first? Another critical question, especially if you are a new aspirant who haven't appeared in the prelims examination ever in the UPSC examination. This might be a question in your mind, and if you are not confident, then also you can ask this question: what is the depth and width of knowledge expected in the prelims? So if you are a new aspirant, especially, and if you are still not confident for the prelims examination, then this can be a very crucial question that you will be going through in your mind. Similarly for the mains examination. Then how I should go about current affairs. This is one of the most common question I've ever heard. I kept it in between because of a reason. Because current affairs is made big by most of the aspirants. I want to let them know that it can be done in many ways. We'll talk about it later. Then what should be my strategy for the examination? This is a broad, holistic question. Should I join a coaching or a test series? Where can I get my doubts cleared? Okay, so this will be the few questions in your mind. I'll not be answering all the questions in the video, but I'll try to address most of the question, and I'll address other questions in other videos. Okay, this will be a holistic approach question, strategy question. If you follow this video, you'll get a broader idea how you should go about for the next 6 months. Okay, now uh, as a first step, I suggest every new aspirant to first evaluate your preparation level. Now, what the question is, the idea is simple, but the question is how you should evaluate yourself. Okay, so I have created few parameters. If you check, if you check all the parameters in the box, then you are good to go for the examination. Okay, if you have not checked the parameter well, then you have to prepare something for going in before entering into prelims examination. That's the idea. Okay, most of you are it's now itself prepared to write prelims examination. Most of people who have cleared prelims one or more times, who are very much confident. I will talk about different kind of people after this evaluation. Okay, so let's see what is it. What are the few evaluation parameters? First is syllabus and knowledge and understanding. Have you ever gone through the syllabus page? Have you ever seen the notification that UPSC releases every year? Do you know about the syllabus aspects? What are the subjects asked in the syllabus? What are the kind of questions UPSC may ask? What is the qualities that UPSC is checking? If not, then it's a problem. I'm mentioning right here itself. If you are not aware of such thing and you are very new to the preparation, I have prepared few videos to enable you to learn about such things. That link I will share in the description box. Okay, but if you're still not aware about syllabus and knowledge, please go and watch those videos, then come back to this strategy. It will just take half an hour more. The idea is to make yourself comfortably and prepare from all angle that you are ready for this examination. Okay, now next point is the subjects with exam readiness check. Now this parameter cannot be judged individually. Okay, you can qualitatively think, okay, I'm ready for this subject, I'm good in geography, I'm good in history, I'm good in polity. It's all that, but I have divided this further into two broader parameters. One is the confidence meter, okay, in each of the subject that I mentioned earlier, that polity, economy, history, geography, science and tech. I believe these are the five fundamental pillars, and the subdivision can be multiple things, but there are five fundamental pillars at least you should be aware before entering into the prelims examination. Okay, so this is the confidence. You can check that, okay, are you confident in polity? No, then what are your weaknesses? Note it down. Are you confident in economy? No, what are the reasons you are thinking of? Note it down. It's not necessary you write all the technical reasons. Just note it down to make yourself aware. Okay, now since I'm asking you, you are able to list down few pointers which you're not confident about. Then those are the areas where you need to prepare more. Okay. Similarly, after this conference meter, you should understand that what is the practice and revision level. Have you practiced enough questions in each of them? Have you revised them enough? Or are you starting just now? Okay, this foundational subjects. If this is the analysis you have done, then you will arrive in either of these five situations. Okay, note it down for yourself in which five situation you are in. It's up to you how you want to note it down, how you want to use this strategy video. But my suggestion would be to note a situation where you are landing, because the next slide of the strategy or the further slides will help you with the strategy that suits you better according to me. Okay, so either you will be in situation one where you have either cleared the prelims more than one or more than once, or your confidence of clearing prelims every time later. Okay, this is the fundamental situation. After evaluation, you'll realize, okay, you're at this slide. Okay, but your fear of doing something wrong or losing time, this is the main trouble you're facing. Then you are in situation one. Then situation two will be the people who have cleared prelims one. You can say also more than one, but you are not confident about clearing anytime later. This is rare. That if you have cleared prelims more than once, then you are still not confident. But if you have, that's why I have written only once. Okay, if you have cleared prelims once, but you're still not confident of clearing it anytime later, then you will land in situation 2. Okay, you also have fear of doing something wrong and you are still not confident for clearing prelims. This is a big trouble for you. Okay, you might be feeling, from my point of view, it's not a big trouble, but if you are feeling so, I'm just trying to think what you will be thinking as of now. Then situation 3 will be, you have not cleared prelims but you have attempted it earlier, like you have attempted prelims 2021 or prelims 2022, but you have not cleared it. So you feel that something is missing despite completing syllabus. You feel you are frustrated that you have completed everything in the syllabus, you practiced a lot, but still you're not able to clear the prelims. Then something is missing in your mind. Okay, and the general fear that what am I doing, then self inflection point is every time there. So this can be situation with you if you are in situation number 3, or you can be in situation number 4. Situation number 4 means not you have not attempted prelims earlier, but you have started studying. You have given some time, a month or two till now, in preparation of UPSC civil service examination. You have prepared something. You have listened to somebody. You understand the needs of, but you need some direction, some control, who can give you some strategy you might be needing, some information. Asymmetry is there, as everybody knows. Some uncertainty regarding the exam is there, and you also have a general fear. Then you are in situation 4. Then who are in situation 5? The people who have not attempted prelims earlier and need a solid start. These are the people who are just starting the UPSC civil service journey but still are aspiring to appear for UPSC 2023. Okay, they are very fresh. They have just started in the November month, at least I'm assuming, but they are confused with the infinite available resources, where to look for, what is the strategy, what should I go for, how should I start, how should I attempt the paper, general fear in mind, everything else. So these are the possible 5 situations which I could think of any aspirant should be, and I have seen aspirants in all of these buckets throughout my preparation journey. Okay, with my friends, my colleagues, or somebody I have met randomly. So people generally fall in either of these 5 buckets at this point of time of the examination. Okay, now next. So with each situation, I've tried to prepare a priority table. Okay, priority table in the sense means, since you are at this situation, so how you should go about your preparation in the upcoming 6 months. You should have a priority decided for you. Okay, and I'm not suggesting that you follow this priority blindly. It is just my suggestion which I feel is relevant and will help you more to attain more in this examination. That's why I'm suggesting such kind of priority. Okay, so let's see what is for situation 1 student. Situation 1 means, as I mentioned earlier, you have cleared prelims more than once. Your confidence about clearing prelims. This means you are good with common subjects. Okay, so you don't need to give much time to the common subjects. You don't need to give time to analysis notes. Since you have cleared prelims, this implies you have also written mains. So since you have also written mains, you have certain analysis and notes and themes at least which are relevant for mains. You are aware of it. Okay, so that kind of notes I am expecting is with you. Okay, so you don't need much time for that before prelims. If anything you need, then it is after prelims. Then further, you need less time to prepare for optional. You need less time to prepare for main specific subjects, since you have already done that. And then the critical thing for you will be the revision, the current affairs part, which are new for every year, and revising the common aspects, which I believe is important. So this is the core strategy, core theme, core method. Since these are the 6 elements which I thought of, which I believe is important, and every aspirant should try to divide their preparation in this kind of buckets, because this simplifies their method, this simplifies their energy, this channelize their energy in the right direction. Okay, so these are the 6 buckets which you can note it down also. But the idea is to give you an idea as a student in situation 1, you should give priority to revision, current affairs and common topics. This should be your strategy going before the prelims examination, okay? But since you have time before prelims, I suggest you take this following priority strategy. I hope in the November month, since you have already cleared the prelims, you already have started preparing for optional after the mains examination, whose result is yet to be out. If you written mains 2022 or if you have written mains 2021, then you have already started preparing for optional subjects in the given time, okay? Optional. Then second is the main specific subjects. There are certain subjects that fall in the category of mains specific that are not literally asked in the prelims examination. They're generally kept for mains. Like disaster management is there. Similarly, governance subject is there. International relation is there. So we'll look about all those subjects in the later part of the slide, which we'll definitely talk about. But just an idea, giving you just an idea. So main specific subjects you will be focusing on, then current affairs. Then this is the November month already going on. We are just in the last 10 days of the month of November, most probably last week or last 10 days. So the idea is to, if you are or not doing, if you are studying in November, I hope that you would have done this and you will try to do this thing in the remaining time. Okay. Then in the December month, you should give focus to optional also, because it is a time for you, since you have already well versed with the common subjects. You can try giving some time to optional and main specific subjects, which can help you during the gap between prelims and mains. You can fill up the gaps which you missed in the last time. Okay. Then focus on revision, because from December you should definitely start revising things. You should allocate some time starting revision for prelim specific things. People say just before 3 months you go all in prelims, but I strongly believe that you should start preparing for prelims, start revision at least 4, 5, 6 months back, because taking up the pace, the time you take to pick up the pace, it allows you to make certain strategy, make certain tips and tricks if you start early. Okay, this is the idea, because prelims examination is very random. Okay, you can also clear if you have luck. You can simply guess, you get the right answer. Okay, but the idea is not that. Idea is to be confident whatever you take in the examination, you do the right strategy. I'll also try to come up with certain strategy that can help you in clearing the prelims examination easily. But let us look at this thing first. Okay, revision. Then fourth is the current affairs. Now is the time you should also start focusing on current affairs a little bit more. Okay. Now January. As you enter January month, if you see this slide, you will see that everything is so much thing is there. But just remember, I am talking in months. So in month you have 30 days. 30 days you have, each day have 24 hours. At least 10 to 12 studying hours you will having. 10 to 12 studying hours. 30 days is 360 hours. That is more than anything to cover the UPSC syllabus twice. Okay. It's just that you have to channelize your time well. That is why we are looking at this strategy. Okay. Now in the January month, as you come to January month, you should start focusing from optional to main specific subjects a little bit more, because now you have got an idea. Okay, this is optional and you will get enough time between prelims and mains to take forward from there. Until unless you have a very big option like mathematics, it will take more time obviously. But if you're not a mathematics student and if you have something which is more theoretical, then this is enough. Okay, then a little bit time to mains. Then you should also start reading something in common subjects. Common subjects we'll talk about. What are the common subjects? Like politics, economy, history, all of us there. The foundational subjects which I talk about initially are the common subjects. So you should also start studying about the common subject. What happens when you have cleared prelims also, you need some time to revise something. Okay, that we cover in revision. But still you think there are some points which you might have missed in your earlier preparation. Then start taking up them right now. January is the right time to take them up. Okay, not later than that. Okay, so you start taking up, giving them some time, because you also need time to pick them up. Okay, you will need some time to pick them up. Then the fourth will be current affairs obviously, and then some time to revision. This should be a slot for January month. Okay. Then in February, similarly, you increase your focus to the common subjects, because by this time I expect you complete everything that is left for you in reading in the common subjects. Okay, in the February month. Then the second focus will be on revision. Now you increase the focus on revision, since you're already in February, you're just 3 or 4 months behind the examination. Now you should increase your focus on revision part also, because this is the time that you will be getting to revise. As soon as you come close to the exam, you will be full of anxiety. You will solve a lot of questions. You will not have confidence. But if you have revised it this at this point of the moment in this month, you will be very much confident going ahead in the examination. You will feel like you can do everything. Okay, this revision will also help you in the main examination. You will not be needing to study the common subjects which you have studied for prelims even after the prelims examination, because you will be so much confident in them. You will so much aware about the facts, because you have given so much time to revision. Okay, then give certain more importance to current affairs, because see, how to do current affairs, we'll definitely talk about it. Okay, But the priority which I am setting it here is just to give you an idea that how you should divide your day during the month of February. Okay. If you're planning for the day, then the priority should be clear. If you're planning for the week, the priority should be clear. This is the priority order. The number 1, 2, 3, 4 which I'm giving is the priority order in which you should give more time. Suppose I'm giving something to number 1 to something, then if you are studying 12 hours, then at least 3 hours should go to number 1. Okay, 3 or more, 4 maybe. Okay, and then second should get 3 hours, and third should get 2 hours, something like that. The idea is like that. You should try to divide your day and your week or month, however you're planning, in such a way that the priority order is set. Okay, you can also switch or plan in a different way, but the idea is that focusing, the priority I'm setting it here is just to enhance your focus. Okay, on the subjects or the part. Then as soon as the March month come, right, you should simply skip everything optional and mains physics. Everything is done. Okay, whatever you've done till February or January, most probably February will be just loading a little bit, 2 or 3 hours for mains and optional, just to brush them things up, collate things, segregating things. Rest is done. Now in March, you should not allocate a single minute to optional and mains physics, because you will have whatever you are left with, you will do it after prelims. Because if you do something of that sort in the March, then you will struggle and will not be able to do prelims well. The things which are necessary for prelims. I'm not saying you might lose marks, you might not clear prelims because of this, but going this way is a very risky. You should at least focus more on prelims starting from March itself. Okay. So what should be the idea? Revision should take the first seat. Okay, revision should be the most important thing. Whatever left in current affairs, take them up. Okay, allot them the second most priority slot in your day or week or month. Then just wrap and segregate whatever things you have collected for the commons which you have left earlier. Like you might not be aware about the constitutional bodies earlier, statutory body earlier, agreements earlier, laws earlier. You would have done them in January, February. Now you're just collating and segregating them. Okay, this is the idea. Now, from the March itself, your first slot should take the bigger chunk of your 12 hours. Suppose you're studying 12 hours a day, then 6 hours should go to number 1. 3 or 4 hours goes to number 2. And the remaining chunk and the 1 or 2 or whatever left is go to the common subject. That's the idea, okay? Now, as April enters, the 12 hours a day study, 8 hours should be taken by the number 1 part, the revision part, and the remaining 4 hours should be taken up by the current affairs part. No focus on common subject. Whatever you've done till March end. Now you are just revising and practicing current affairs. That's it. Okay. Current affairs also you can reduce more if you have done it earlier, or whatever you have done you're confident with. Focus also should be on revision and practice. Practice as much as question as possible. Just practice and revise. Practice and revise. That should be the idea. Okay. Now in May month, 28 days we will be having in the May month. This 28 days should be practiced beautifully. The idea should be practice previous year questions. You should start practicing previous year questions even in the March itself. Okay, and then just keep 1 or 2 papers full in the May month, which you will be practicing by 15th of May, and then till 20th you will just having revision, and sometimes strategy, tricks, and methods to recall the ideas and concepts which you have read throughout the this time period. Okay, this should be the complete priority strategy. I'm obviously sharing the priority plan, but this is also a strategy for a student in situation 1 which I talked about. Still, if you have cleared the prelims, you are in a very better place to do all this very nicely, so that you have no loose ends left. You will come if you follow this holistically, right? At least if 70% of this you follow and 30% you improvise, or more if you improvise, just try to stick to the revision, commons, and current affairs part. You still perform well in this prelims and you will do it. Okay, and then mains you will be in a very better position. If you do optional and mains basic part also at least 50%, then also you will be in a very strong position if you after clearing the prelims. Okay, now, so this is a strategy, this similar to previous strategy. The situation 2 students and situation 3 students have a more or less similar kind of should have a more or less similar approach to this examination. Because see, situation 2 students might have cleared the prelims, but they're not confident. This implies they might have cleared the prelims by luck, or they are still not very much aware about how this exam works. This is similar to people who have not cleared the prelims but have attempted it earlier, because they are also not something, they feel something is missing. Okay, so that's why I kept them in the same situation, the planning template. And for see, if you see, there are more number of blank boxes here, but there are less number of blank boxes here. This is because the student in situation 2 and 3 should work harder. Okay, you understand this thing. This is nothing or shortcut. Okay, I can give you certain strategy, way to plan your day, but still you have 24 hours. These guys also have 24 hours. They will allocate more time to the more level of things. Suppose they're already here and they will go to a higher level, okay, but you're starting a little bit lower at this point of time, but you can also reach that level if you put such hard work here, okay. I suggest strongly that students in session 2 or 3 try to put more number of hours. If you're doing something else, then please, if you're really serious about clearing UPSC examination 2023, and if you are in situation 2 and 3, you should simply skip those things and start focusing for the examination right from the strictly from this time, okay. There will be many times that you'll feeling what you are doing, okay. If you search query, then there are other videos that you should watch. But if you're watching this video and you're serious about clearing UPSC 2023, then I have this strategy for you. It's very rigorous. Then this is the priority plan, okay. You should give November and December certain times and focus to optional and main specific, okay, because otherwise you will get a lot of scare. You will get very much scared after prelims examination, okay. Then second thing you should focus on in the common subjects. You start focusing on common subjects, reading whatever things you might have already read, okay. But you need, obviously there are many gaps in your common subjects. That's why you haven't cleared prelims earlier, or you're just clearing prelims but not confident enough for the next time, because you will loopholes in your preparation in the common subjects, okay. You might be lacking knowledge, you might be lacking confidence, you might be lacking tricks how to answer prelims question. Many other things can be there, okay. So you have the foundation to that is you should have your knowledge in a common subjects much better, in a much better way, okay. So because of that, I'm suggesting you should prioritize your common subject also in this time. The fourth is the current affairs. You should also start studying for current affairs, because if you don't start in November and December, right, you will be at a very difficult position when you reach March, okay, because you have to allocate time to everything in November and December, and this should be the priority order. You don't need to do any revision in November. If you can find time, it's well and good, but if not, then focus on first optional subjects, second main subjects. What are these? If you don't know, then I'll talk about them in the upcoming slides. But if you are aware of them, then well and good. Just note it down. These are the 6 buckets. Okay, as I told in the previous strategy, these are the 6 buckets. Okay, that can help you plan your strategy well. Okay, then you also dedicate time to make analysis notes. Okay, since you have just cleared the prelims, you might have written mains. Okay, but you have not cleared the prelims. In both the situations, I believe the children or the students are not very much well equipped with the analysis part that is asked in the mains examination, okay. Mains examination is all about analysis, okay. They ask you question where they can ask you pros and cons both aspects. They can ask you balancing that facts. They can ask you something very tremendous happening in the world, okay. So for that thing you should have an analytical mind to be able to answer such questions, because in mains examination you don't have options to choose from. You have to write simply from your brain, and recalling those things are very important, and recalling will only be possible if you analyze them well, if you revise them well. So that's why I suggest you should in November also, since you might have not done well in making analysis notes. If you've done well, then well and good. If not, then practice them starting from November itself, okay. Then don't dedicate much time to revision in November. If you can, well and good. Then in December, similarly, same priority order I have suggested, is only that revision takes a bigger importance than analysis note, because you have done something in November. You should revise them in a very strategic way in December to retain majority of the knowledge, because if you don't revise in a month, you tend to forget them more easily. So that's why I kept revision better important than analysis note, because rest of them are also very important. So as soon as you enter January month, okay, the focus totally shifts from optional mains to common subjects, okay. This is the time for you to cover the loopholes, which I mentioned also in the November, to in a better pace. This will be the place where you are trying to, in the January, February, March, you are trying to complete the common aspects of the syllabus holistically. At the same time, you are also doing revision, January, February, March. Okay, these are the 3 things I'm talking about. You should read and revise at the same time with practice, because since you are not confident with clearing prelims, you need more revision, more practice, and more studying of the aspects which are needed for the prelims examination. Okay, that's why I kept January, February, March for them, so that you don't toil and try to panic in April or May. That's the idea behind it. And you should reduce focus on optional mains. Okay, they take the back seat, and analysis note, since it's also relevant for mains, they also take the back seat. Okay, current affairs will be again the third priority in all these 3 months, because these are relevant for the prelims examination. In the current affairs, you can go for prelims specific current affairs more. If you're lacking time, if you think you're struggling with the time, then you can simply go for prelims specific current affairs topic, which we will talk about later, okay. Then the April month, April month simply focus on revision. Okay, the first priority should be revision. Since you have read a lot of things in the past 4 5 months, okay, now is the time to revise them holistically, because you have already done certain revision earlier, okay, in the previous month. But it's time to focus more on revision, because now is the time to deliver in the prelims. Okay, if you don't revise for 2 months completely in a way that you think will help you in the examination, you will struggle. You definitely struggle in recalling the ideas. Okay, that's why I kept revision the second priority for January, February, March, and all in the first priority in April and May. Since you have less time, you have less well prepared for the examination. That's why you have to focus in this way. Okay, and then April you give the last call to current affairs. If anything is left for your current affairs, just collate them, wrap them up in a way that you want to revise in the May, and that's it. Call it a day for current affairs. Okay, and then for common subjects, if anything is left, just close them up in by daily dedicating 1 hour, or just giving a 10% 20% of the planning unit, month, week, or day, however you're planning, to wrap them up as soon as possible. Okay, your focus should be on revision and practice. Similarly, in May, your focus should be on revision and practice. That's it. Try to focus and solve previous year questions, previous year papers. Solve in a paper method. Okay, solve 2013 to 18 or 19 in March and April, and keep 3 4 papers for, or at least 2 3 papers for you to solve in May, and wrap them by 20th of May or 15th of May last, so that you can have a very comfortable mind with all the analysis of how you are going about the UPSC civil service examination, how you are going to give the examination, what should be your strategy will you enter the examination. You can have an exam day strategy with this practice. Okay, because that is the idea you will get by solving papers. No other thing can give you that idea, that what is suitable for you and how you should go about the paper. That can only come to you by solving the previous year papers. That's the only way. Okay, so I hope the strategy is clear for you. And this is the priority come strategy slide. Okay, that's why I said like this, because this helps you plan your whole 6 months in a way. Okay, now this for situation 4 and situation 5 students, which I believe that can help them prioritize their planning and strategy for UPSC Civil Service examination if they are planning to clear the examination in 2023. Okay, my first idea for you will be, many will say that you are late, and this is a fact that you are late. Okay, but the idea is not to demoralize you. The idea is to give you a pump. Okay, the pump is that, as you can see, most of the previous slides are light. This is light, this is packed, but your studies is much packed, in fact in a more denser way. Okay, so why is it so? So since you are situation 4 and 5 students, you have to work a little bit more harder than the previous two student in that situation. Okay, so still, if you are serious about clearing UPSC civil service examination 2023, then this is the time for you to give all random stuffs up and dedicate your focus to civil service examination. Otherwise, it's not hard, it will be very difficult, or I can say impossible for you to clear prelims examination until you are God gifted and you have certain superpowers. Okay, and you are secretly preparing for UPSC civil service examination, not telling yourself that you have already done preparation and you are following other categories. Okay, in other of the three exceptions, you cannot be in situation 4 and 5, or otherwise you are here. Okay, if you are here in this situation, then the best priority planning can be this, as you can see on the screen. In the November month, focus on the common subjects. Since you have not done preparation for UPSC till now, or you have done very little preparation, start with focusing on the common subjects like polity, economy, history, geography, and science and tech. This is the time for you this in this month. Try to grasp as much idea and concept as possible. Start with polity and economy, okay, and try to grasp them as much as possible conceptually. If you can afford, enroll to some institute or some teacher who can help you complete this syllabus at an earlier time. This is the role that coaching can play. Okay, you can study yourself UPSC syllabus every time, everything you can do it yourself. But since you have lack of time, then I strongly suggest to complete as much as possible with the external help, if you can afford. If you cannot afford, look for already resources online. There are websites like free UPSC materials, upscpdf.com, pmfis.com. There are many other coaching institutes that be free coaching materials. There will be few things you can find on my YouTube channel. The idea is that to cover things with the guidance wherever necessary and by self as you can, as much as possible in the November month. This will be the most rigorous month you will going through. Okay, you have to give your best to take an edge of whatever you have missed earlier. Okay, because of a decision or other commitment, this is the time for you to pick it up. Okay, commit to common subjects, then also allocate certain time to optional and main specific subjects, because you should have start having an idea. Okay, these are things for prelims examination, but whatever, if I clear the prelims examination, then I should be having an understanding what is there for me after that. Okay, so you should have a selection of options for sure. If you have not selected optional, then you are in a different trouble. Okay, you should be aware of your optional subject at least by now. If not, then select it within the next 2 3 days and start thinking about it, preparing for it. At least collect notes or coaching where you will be doing completing that, or try to do some reading by yourself. This is the time for you to pick up optional little bit, at least in the November month. Then know about main specific subjects like governance, international relations, internal security, disaster management, ethics, integrity, aptitude, essay. What you will be doing in those subjects after prelims. Okay, give some idea to it, give some thought to them. How you will be preparing them? Do you have any reference, any source? How you are planning to go about them? Give some thought to them in November month. Okay, but focus on common subject first, because if you don't read common subject now and you engage yourself in other things, you will be in big trouble. Okay, then as soon as December months come, then start giving more focus to optional and main subjects. Why? Because clearing prelims is not the only objective. The objective is to clear every stage in one go. Okay, if you're just giving UPSC 2023 to clear prelims examination, and you want to clear mains in the next attempt, then okay, this strategy is not for you. Okay, if you're just planning for prelims, then this strategy is definitely not for you. This for students I'm preparing who want to clear this exam in this attempt. Okay, so this is the idea. Start giving more focus to optional and mains. Give more time to them, because after prelims you should be at least in a situation where you have covered half of your optional and at least 25 to 30% of your main specific subjects at least. Okay, to be in a better position. Otherwise, you have to toil again after prelims. Okay, so, and that will be very blunderful. You can imagine you have to study 17 18 subjects at a time. That will be really a very difficult task for you. Okay, and again, third, give some focus to common subjects. Whatever you have toiled in November have paid off definitely, and try to cover up and fill the gaps in December as much as possible, and in January. Similarly, in January month, as I told already, fill the gap for common subjects and also give time for main specific subjects more. As I told, in December you are focusing on optional more than main specific subjects. In January month, focus on main specific subjects more. Okay, and keep this in second the common subjects and optional in third, because whatever you have picked up in the December month is enough for you to give a good study in optional. Okay, but in doing optional you cannot commit everything and forget everything else. Okay, because there is a time for doing everything. That's why I'm suggesting you to focus more on main specific now, because this is the time to pick up the subjects, because there are more than 4 or 5 subjects that are main specific that will be very much relevant for you for the exam after prelims. So this is the time for you in January. Then in December and January you should focus on revision and current affairs. As you are a new student or you have just started preparing for UPSC examination, you're not confident, then in December month is the right time for you to start allocating certain time for revision, whatever you have read, and to keep a better recalling power, and also start focusing on current affairs, whatever method you are applying. Okay, we'll talk about the different methods of completing current affairs. You should start in December itself. Okay, and you should continue them in December, January, and they will continuously increase during the preparation cycle. Okay, then as soon as you enter February, your focus should shift completely to prelims analysis. You should focus more on prelims part, a little bit on main specific subjects, and little bit of analysis, and nothing for optional. Okay, from February you should skip optional. Whatever you done, have you done. Now rest you have to do after prelims examination. That's the idea. Okay, from February start focus on common subjects more. Whatever the gaps, fill them up in a more rigorous way. Try to collate as much thing as possible. Make tips and tricks and strategies, whatever you have, to remember all the common subjects. Integrate the knowledge which you have gained in November, December, January. Integrate subjects like geography, integrate with environment. Whatever you did in geography, how can they be relevant in environment? How can you integrate both the subjects? Whatever you study in science and tech, how they can be relevant for other subjects? Whatever you did in economy, whatever you did in polity, how they can be useful in other subjects. You have to move in such integration thought process. Okay, in February, March, and April. February more rigorously, March a little bit more rigorously, and April can be light. Okay, I've kept in the first priority still, but you can keep it light in April. Okay, the idea should be toil as much as possible in February and March. Okay, then in February your second priority should be main specific subjects, because whatever you've done, it's time to collate and close them. Because when after prelims you pick them up, The idea should be you should have a certain template and idea from where you're picking them up, and you should have a method to it. Okay, this time is to building those method and strategy that after prelims when you come to these notes, this strategy, this idea, you'll be well prepared to pick them up. Okay, similarly for, see, every time I have given some list priority to analysis note. Okay, this is the, you should understand them that you cannot skip them. At least allocate 30 minutes and 1 hour to thinking analytically, because this is the only time you will get before prelims to prepare your analytical mind. That will be very much relevant for your mains examination. So see, I have given certain priority to them. Last priority maybe, but certain time you should allocate. It can be 1 hour, half hour, how you are comfortable with in all these 4 months. Okay, and then revision should be your, after doing the common topics and little bit on main topic in February, your key focus should be on revision. Then the remaining time you should focus on current affairs and the analysis note, as I mentioned earlier. So current affairs still are not taking the primary seat because you have other things to do, you have other things to complete. That's why I'm not picking current affairs earlier. I'm doing it a little bit every time, but I'm not taking more focus on current affairs because I have static to complete, right? That's why I've said first focus on the common things. Then as soon as you enter March, you should focus on common thing as I talked about earlier. Then focus shifted more from revision to current affairs. This is the time you have to pace in current affairs. Okay, why? Because if you're not completing most of your magazines, or if you're going with the magazine method, or PT65 will start launching, I believe, in the February end or March first week, you should start reading them and giving more focus to them if you want to clear, if you want to be confident about current affairs. Okay, this is the time. So March should be that time, and then revision takes a third seat. And decision on, you can skip this time if not possible. But idea is that if you have some time, think analytically also. Then April month will be completely about prelims and prelims. Okay, read the common subject, whatever gaps you have, close them now and never leave them. If you are not able to close the gap, leave them. After April, you should not think much about reading something new. This is the time for you, at least. And I am suggesting you should not go beyond April 15th or April 10th at least. April 15th is the maximum day you are going to read something new. If you are going beyond that, it's nothing bad to that. You might feel like reading something new, but you will be losing time in doing something which you might never recall in the examination, or it will just be a waste of time for most of the students. Okay, so focus should be on revision and current affairs, whatever is left for you. In May, I have kept current affairs, but still, if you're not completed current affairs in the April, if you're reading new magazines, you are left with new magazines, leave them. That's why the strategy is whenever start current affairs, start in a backward method or start with the last 6 months first. Okay, so that whenever you are left with less time, you can skip the earlier newspaper or magazines, which will be having less weightage if they are in the examination, police examination, and other of the examination. Okay, in the May month, as you soon as you enter the May month, the idea should be completely revision and practicing, and little bit time to current affairs, revision also. Only current affairs also revising, not reading something new. In May month, you should not be reading anything new. It will be only revising and practicing. As soon as you enter March, okay, you should start practicing questions more often. As I told in previous study, also solve previous year papers. With whatever knowledge you have, solve the papers. That will give you more practice and more knowledge to be ready to make you more exam ready. April, complete all the practice previous year papers. Just keep 1 or 2 papers or 3 papers for May month. Finish them on 15th and 20th May. Make a paper giving strategy for you and follow the strategy mentally. Revise that strategy for the next 7 days. Revise certain topics and go for the examination 20th May. You will rock the examination. This is the idea. So you might feel this whole priority planning is a little bit complex. Okay, you might feel like that. I will suggest give this strategy some more time. Okay, uh, what you can do, you can slow your video, or you can use the timestamp to go back to the video, or you simply can go back to the video and watch this priority planning again and make yourself more comfortable with the plan. If you have a different plan, go ahead with that if you're confident in that. But if you think this is the plan you will be going to follow, just understand it properly very well before taking up this plan. Okay, because I don't want any of you to be more confused. That's why I've classified them in different situations for different students. That can be more helpful for you. Okay, now, this is a very foundational principle which I believe every UPSC aspirant should be aware about. Most of the people call them 80-20 rule, but the idea is simple. Okay, whatever time you're committing, your focus should be first on the 80% of easy things. Okay, people say that with 20% of efforts you can complete 80% of things easily. Okay, whatever can be the fact, but I am for sure aware of the fact that 80% of things can be done easily, this for sure. Is it by 20% of effort or more effort? I'm not very much aware about it. I don't think it is less. It is just 20% effort that needs to complete 80% of things. But the idea is that 80% of things can be done easily. This for sure. Okay. So first try to complete those 80% of things that can help you build the foundational knowledge and the stretch of knowledge that is needed for the prelims examination at least, and some information about the mains examination before going into the prelims. This is needed. And then whatever time you are left with, you should focus on going deep and complete those from make that 80% into 100% as much as possible. Okay, this is the idea. This should be the guiding principle in your whole of your preparation. Okay, whenever you have started preparation, or if you have started preparation, then also you should think about this idea that I should complete foundational thing first. Foundational thing meaning Indian polity, Indian economy, Indian history, Indian geography, science and technology, environment. These are a few of the foundational subjects that you should do first covering to clear this examination. Okay. Now, this is the very critical or most interesting part of the video that most of the people like to hear. That how can I complete current affairs? Okay. So first thing is that we'll see the stat thing, but I have prepared a separate video for the current affairs plan for UPSC. That link I will also share in the description box. Okay. There is also a playlist in which I will be sharing the strategy 6 months plan. In that playlist, I will be sharing complementing videos like completing current affairs and other subjects wise strategy which you might be needing going over time. I will definitely share in that playlist also only. Okay, so that playlist link also I'll be sharing in the description box. If you need to just focus on the 6 months plan, you can definitely directly go to the playlist and watch all the relevant videos for you. Okay, so come back to the slide. Completing current affairs. So the idea is you want to complete fastest. Okay, as per the syllabus of the UPSC prelims notification, which everybody you might be aware of, is that current events of national and international importance. They have written just a very simple line, but with this line they have added the whole world to your syllabus. Okay, they can ask anything under the sun literally that may be very subtly related to administration. They can definitely add it to the syllabus by this simple line. Okay, so idea is not to get hesitated or not to get anxious or not to get very much troubled mentally about the syllabus. You have very simple three methods to complete this part of the syllabus. Okay, so suppose you have at least 9 months left. That is not definitely not the fact now, but still you have 6 months left. You can start also if you think you can commit 15 minutes or 20 minutes daily for reading a newspaper. Then you should definitely commit those 20 minutes because that reading newspaper is the most fundamental and thing that I believe for the examination, and I recommend every new aspirant should go about it. At least situation 4 and 5 students should definitely give 15-20 minutes to reading newspaper because it has incomparable benefit. How it can help you understand the chronology of the events happening around you. It can give you broader sense of things happening around you in the world, which is necessary to appear in the examination. As you can see in the syllabus, current events of national and international importance. So you should have an idea that what all things make the national interest, what all things make the global interest. That can only come while reading newspaper. People can say n number of things to clear prelims examination. Okay, but reading newspaper is very fundamental, which I believe. And if you have trouble reading newspaper, you can simply follow my daily art of reading newspaper strategy. That every day I read a newspaper and try to complete in 15-20 minutes to help you cover that real daily newspaper part. If you are not finding any strategy or method to read newspaper, you can simply follow the initiative. Within a week, I am sure that you will definitely have the art to read the newspaper by following this initiative for just 7 months. 7 days simply. Then you can do things on your own. Okay. Then method one, if you are not comfortable reading newspaper, you think they can take a lot of time, you have other important things to do, then you can follow method one or method two, either of them. Okay. First method is about reading monthly magazines. You can follow any coaching. I prefer Vision IS, but you can follow any coaching Inside IS, Byju's. Both have great current affairs magazine. It's just that what methods and what kind of magazine suits you better. For that, you need to study for 1 or 2 months magazine for each of them. Not holistically, but just to give a broad idea that which magazine help you understand things well. Choose that magazine and that will be your method. Okay, so ideally you should prepare for 1 year. If not possible to cover current affairs for 1 year, then at least cover for past 6 months. That's the idea. Okay, for prelims. Then method 2 is about PD 365 method. In February end or in March first week most probably, Vision IS will release PD 365. That is called the Makkah or the Bible of UPSC prelims. They have all the concepts integrated and well placed with the topic. So you don't need to think, go and Google search things other places to get more information about the topic. Whatever will be relevant for the exam point of view from that topic will most probably will be written in the PD65 magazine. So it's a one source kind of thing. So if you are not very much interested in preparing monthly magazines and you don't like giving more than 2-3 months for current affairs, then you can simply focus the 3-4 weeks time in PD65 dedicatedly and complete current affairs for the UPSC civil service examination. Obviously, success rate is less. Obviously, the probability of recalling you recalling things will be less. Obviously, it will not have benefits of reading newspaper, but at least it will have more chances of giving you correct result that is needed for prelims examination. Okay, so you can also have this strategy. But if you ask what I followed, I have appeared for two prelims examination, prelims 2021, prelims 2022. In prelims 121, I followed method 0. I read newspaper for 6-7 months. That actually helped me in covering the current affairs part more methodically. There were other reasons that I have been unsuccessful in 2021, but this method actually helped me in 2022 also, because when I was reading in 2022, I followed method 1 most of the time, because I have already read newspaper. So method 1 also helped me in reading those magazines in less amount of time. Okay, since current affairs is new every time, so you have to have a basic understanding of things, that whatever is going on around. Since I have read the newspaper earlier, I was very much comfortable with the static portion. I know what is happening in the world. I was able to link those things. So method 1 was very easy for me to follow. In less time, I was able to complete most of the magazines. Okay, and similarly, to complement and fill certain gaps which are there in the method 1, and if you have also have time, since I had some time after completing method 1 to allocate to current affairs, so I also filled my time for environment and science and tech, most importantly through PD65. So this was my method. So for the whole complete current affairs strategy and the current affairs plan, I have a different video as I told earlier. You can watch that video for better understanding how you can complete current affairs fastest. Okay, now this is where most of the students struggle in this phase of the examination, when in November, December, is that integrated preparation. Everywhere you watch toppers video, everywhere you watch different coaching ideas and very influencers who are talking about UPSC examination here and there, you will see most of them are talking about integrated preparation. Okay, but the very basic question that can click your mind is that what is this integrated preparation? Everybody talks about integrated preparation, but what does it look like? Is it right that I am thinking that reading about prelims, mains, and interview together is the integrated preparation? If you are thinking like that, then yes, this is the answer. Why I decided to keep this slide here is to make a firm for few of you will be here like, okay, I have few ideas what is integrated preparation. I just want to confirm it. Okay, you can confirm by this slide. This is the first idea. Okay, second, many of you are not aware what is integrated preparation. Then to give you an idea what an integrated preparation exactly looks like, this slide is there. And third, for people who know what is integrated preparation, but they need an expert opinion and confirmation that this is the integrated preparation, for them it is the idea. Okay, this is the slide for you all three classes of people. This is the idea. So what is the integrated preparation? Integrated preparation simply combines of this following 6-7 items. Okay, what are they? First, studying subjects and themes common for both prelims and mains. This is the primary idea that you should be aware of. Okay, that the most of the people are simply aware of the first point, not the rest of the point. So this is the first point. You should be studying subjects and themes common to both prelims and mains. We'll obviously see in the next slides what are the common subjects and themes for both prelims and mains. Okay, we'll see each of these points separately in the next slide. Okay, in the upcoming slides. Then the second is practicing questions. After you have studied these common topics, you should have some venue and place. Like there are free portals on the internet, like inside IS website, there is forum IS website, there is IS Wow website, who post daily practice question, daily current affairs quiz. A lot of quizzes given by inside IS. In fact, CSAT also they give practice question. And forum IS at 10 p.m. question session. Then there are other coaching institutes, they have separate current affairs practice thing. So these are the platforms for you to practice such questions. Inside there is also a static channel, static area where they post subject wise static question every day 5, 6, 10. So that is the place for you to practice question that you should definitely do from prelims point of view, prelims examination in mind. Okay, this is the second part of the integrated preparation. Third part is that wherever required, make notes of analytical insights. As you have followed this strategy priority planning I've made for all the students, important bucket is that analysis notes. Okay, how you come about this analysis note is here only. making analytical insights to be used during mains examination. Okay, this is that thing. Then the fourth thing is that allocate certain time for optional. Whatever optional you have, you should be giving certain time for optional as per your preparation, as per your interest, as per your priority, as per your thinking that how much time you need for the preparation optional. This also comes in the integrated preparation bucket. Okay, then you should allocate certain time for main specific subjects. Obviously many people will talk about sir optional is also main specific subjects, right? Optional is a main specific subject itself, but main specific subjects in the sense here is the general studies subject which you don't study for prelims in general, that are asked in general studies paper in the mains examination. Those all things come as the main specific subjects in this bucket. So that like ethics, integrity, aptitude are there GS4. Then there are certain topics in economy, internal security, disaster management. Then international relation is there, governance is there, social justice is there, Indian society is there in GS1. Then world history is there in GS1. Post-independent history is there in GS1. These all things are main specific topics and subjects which are relevant for main examination. We will also allocate certain time in this phase of examination, at least in November, December, or January, based on which situation you fall under, for preparing for civil service examination holistic way and completing integrated preparation umbrella, that which we are talking about. Okay, sorry. Then the next part is the answer writing practices. Many people say sir answer writing kaise karna hai, how to go about answer writing, what is the strategy, what is the method, where should we answer write answers, who should evaluate us, everything is there. So that all keeping aside, the funda should be when you are preparing in an integrated way, you should practice writing answers. Don't worry about who will evaluate it. If you know that if you can evaluate yourself, I will also make a video to help you evaluate your answers yourself. You don't need anybody else. Obviously, there will be certain bias in you preparing for, in you evaluating for yourself. But if you go by 4 and 5 indicators, which I am giving, which I will give it to you in future videos, you will definitely evaluate your answer well, and it will be at par with the coaching institute. That will give you more learning for sure. Okay. Then the seventh part is the final part is the revision. Why I kept it in the last? Because people don't like to hear revision a lot. Okay, they have been already told multiple times to talk about revision, revision, revision. But revision is the most integrated part of this preparation. The word integrated comes with the revision. If you don't revise, you cannot integrate preparation. You will just simply reading, 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 and going forward. To integrate your preparation, you need revision. Revision is the interlinking between your integration and preparation. Just try to understand that. Okay. So this is, I hope you got an idea, a bit idea that what integrated preparation exactly is. Now let us look at these points specifically in a much broader and elaborate way. Okay, what are the common subjects? As I told in the first point, what are the common subjects for prelims and mains? So I'm going about common with GS1 means in mains examination there are 4 general studies paper and 1 essay paper and 2 optional papers. There are 2 other papers that are language papers which I will not be talking about here because that's not a part of the strategy as of now. Okay. So in this, I'll tell you exactly that which of the subjects in the prelims matches with each of the general studies paper and essay paper, and how you can prepare them in an integrated way. What are the common subjects? So first is the Indian history. Indian history means ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history, and modern Indian history with focus on Indian national movement. Okay, and then art and culture. But you will say, sir, in the mains examination, what is the history part? In the mains examination, they don't ask about ancient history and medieval history as such, but they talk about art and culture. So art and culture should be holistically done from the ancient to the modern times, and rest you have to prepare ancient Indian history and medieval from the prelims point of view, just the objective part, and the Indian history from both the objective part and the mains part. Okay, this is the idea. And focus on Indian national movement. There are at least 3 or 4 questions in prelims from Indian national movement, and at least 1 or 2 questions in the mains examination also. This is the idea. Then physical geography. What do you mean by physical geography? Physical geography means geomorphology, oceanography, climatology, such things which affects the physical aspects of our geography environment. Okay, I mean, those come under physical geography. You should be aware of that. Then climate changing phenomena like earthquakes, volcanoes, P waves, S waves, a lot of things are there that comes in the physical geography part. You should be aware of. Okay. Then Indian and world geography. What do you come in Indian and world geography? In Indian world geography, they talk about resources mostly. And okay, what are the climatology in India? What is the type of climate classification in the world? Uh, what is soil? What are the properties of soil found in India and the world? Black soil, alluvial soil, laterite soil, number of soils are there. What is the agricultural pattern here and there? What are the types of crops grown in India and the world? This kind of question can be part of geography. Okay. World geography specifically. Indian geography, they can talk about monsoon, okay, climatic patterns in India, climatic zones in India, and then you can be also aware of some disaster management component like uh, different regions of India have different mountains. Like India rain occurs because of the when the clouds strike with the mountain, the orographic rain is more common in India, in the Western Ghats, in the northeastern part because of the Himalayas. That is the core reason why Rajasthan or the Western Rajasthan doesn't have much of the rain because Aravalli is parallel to the southwestern winds. How the southwestern winds are there. This all part comes into geography, Indian geography, okay? And then the general studies two part. What are the common things in that for prelims and mains? Welfare scheme. Suppose there is a new scheme like PM Gati Shakti scheme. Welfare schemes are mainly targeted to vulnerable groups for the development. Okay, so if there are any development problems like poverty, health, and education, and the related government schemes and development in the current times should be helpful for you while preparing for prelims and mains both. That's why they are part of integrated preparation. Okay, common subjects. Then Indian polity and constitution. You should be aware of the Lakshmikant completely. Okay, so in the prelims point of view, you can say end to end, but there are a selected portion of Lakshmikant that you can skip. Okay. The idea is you to be conceptually clear before prelims because prelims the most of the questions will be conceptual and few of them will be factual. So especially subjects like fundamental rights, directive principles of state policies, parliament, and constitutional development of constitution or evaluation of constitution, then constitutional and statutory bodies, their function and powers. These things you'll be at least very much aware before prelims. Most of the questions are asked from these chapters only. Okay. Then the governance aspect of department, ministry, constitutional and statutory bodies that I already talked about earlier. These are important to be aware of. Okay, which ministry has done this? Is this a constitutional body, or statutory body? What are the number of members? How they can be removed? Supreme Court, Supreme Court judge, election commissioner, chief election commissioner. Like in recent times, current affairs, there is a we got a notification that election commissioner has been elected recently. Okay, so there can be question that how are election commissioner nominated. So they can be talk about consider the following statement about election commission, chief election commissioner or election commission. They can give you three, four statements. You can pick from that. These are the type of question that can be asked from constitutional body. They can ask you about financial commission. What is financial commission? Which article is responsible for financial commission? They will not ask you directly. They will give you consider the following statement of financial commission. They give you three, four statements. You have to choose which is right, which is wrong. This can be the questions. Okay. Then they can talk to you about international organization. What is WHO? What is UNICEF? What is UNICTAD? What is UNFCCC? Like COP27 has completed recently. They may ask you that India has made certain commitment in COP27, or what is COP27? How when it started? Certain statements can be regarding this, and then they have a bilateral organizations, multilateral groupings, and regional groupings. Like they can talk about SARC, they can talk about SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. They can talk about GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council. So similarly, things they can ask about these groupings. What are the member countries? What is the interest in India? Like India is dependent on oil, so India should have a certain interest with GCC. India has energy demand. India has relation with Russia. So how SCO plays a role in triangulating between Russia, India, and China. Okay. Then defense requirement. There are many military exercises like Yuddh Abhyas with US. Okay, Slinex with Sri Lanka, and then we have with Singapore also we have certain exercises. When UK also we have certain exercises. Then Russia, UK, everybody we have different exercises, military exercises that you should be aware of. You can also be asked about defense equipments like missiles. Okay, what are the missiles India is using? Like integrated guided missile program we have. We have Agni missile, BrahMos missile. We have cruise missile, ballistic missile, surface to air missile, air to surface missile. Different kind of missiles are there. You should be aware of them. Prithvi, Agni, Tejas. Then mapping. They can ask you about certain countries. Like they can ask you about countries surrounding Black Sea, countries surrounding Caspian Sea, Strait of Gibraltar कहाँ पे है, ठीक है? What Arabian Sea में कौन सा strategic point located है? Gulf of Oman कहाँ पे है? Gulf of মানে हॉर्मुज कहाँ पे है? This can be the questions of mapping part. Okay. Then other common subjects in general studies three. Okay. In economy they can have concepts like what is inflation, what is recession. Okay. What is wholesale price index? How India is measuring inflation? What is headline inflation? Different kind of concepts. What is GDP? They can ask you data about the trends in data. They can say in the past 5 years, India is experiencing increase in fiscal deficit. That can be data. This kind of trends kind of question can be there. You can select this option is right or wrong based on your awareness. Okay, then reports, they can ask you International Monetary Fund release certain reports, International Atomic Energy Agency release certain report, then IEA, International Energy Agency release certain report. Then there are several NGOs that release certain report, like Global Hunger Index is a report released by NGO World Hunger Life and German Watch. So what do you think about this report? There can be certain facts that can be asked from the reports, the methods, the parameters that are there in the reports. Then the index, okay, the Global Hunger Index I mentioned. There are certain national reports index also, and there are facts. Such things are necessary for economy to understand conceptually also, but they can also be asked in the prelims directly. Okay. Then there can be question about Indian agriculture. What are the type of crops? Rice, wheat, millets. Like this is 2023 is the International Year of Millets. They can definitely ask you question about any millets and giving the conditions where they grow. What are the countries where are they growing? What are they beneficial? They can give a simple statement also that year 2023 is the International Year of Millets. Okay, then about soil, laterite soil, alluvial soil, they can give the property. They can say which soil has a property of self-plugging, like black soil has a property. Cotton का अच्छा grow होता है. Such kind of question can be there. Then climate, what are the climate classifications available? Like for jute cultivation, there is certain kind of climate needed, which is very well placed in West Bengal. Like continuous rain and flooding is alluvial plain formation is needed for jute cultivation. That's why West Bengal is very well suited for that. So certain kind of climatic conditions you should be also aware of. Then government initiatives. What are the initiatives taken by government to promote agriculture, like improving cold chain storage, Operation Greens, TOPS? Certain schemes are there that government given agriculture to promote agriculture. They can ask you about APMC. They can ask you about MSP. Such kind of question can definitely be asked in agriculture in prelims. Okay. Then international security is not directly part of prelims, but they can ask you certain questions, like I mentioned previously about missiles. Okay. They can ask you about certain related to neighborhood border related facts, like they can ask you India and Sri Lanka share the longest border. Suppose they give you such statement, or India has 7,500 kilometers of coastal borders. Like they can ask you some strategic points, like in Andaman, in the southern part of Andaman is Indira Point. They can ask you about certain beaches, which is over in the coastal region. They can ask you about the border question related to border with Bangladesh. They can ask you Sir Creek Point, which is with Pakistan. There is ongoing issue between India and Sri Lanka about fishermen. There are certain strategic points related in the Park Strait or in the southern Colombo, eastern Colombo, and western Colombo. You can can be asked facts about those things. This all can be subdivided in the international security and international relation part based on your understanding. Okay, I generally try to classify them in security part. Then science and tech. In science and tech, they can ask you question on science in daily life. Like they can ask you what is the chemical present in the plastic, certain kind of plastic. Okay, this is a daily life question. They can ask you about certain disease. They can ask you about current global developments. And they can ask you like in Nobel Prize was given in physics to him or them because of this finding this. Like once they have planned to ask about question in CRISPR Cas69 Cas9. Okay, this kind of question can be there. New and innovative technology, disruptive technology. India's role, if there's some scientific development which India played a role, they can ask you about that. India's achievement, like recently we have launched Vikram's S, first private space vehicle that will go to space. So this is an Indian achievement in private sector. Launch vehicle, it is going suborbital. They can talk to ask question about any of this aspect. Then technology impacting India's interest. Like we have technology for solar energy, we have wind energy, geothermal energy. These are technology that impacts India's interest. Extracting oil. Okay, certain are things. These are the things that impacts India's interest. Such technological development, like we have international thermonuclear reactor, which we are using to promote nuclear fission reaction. We are trying to stabilize nuclear fusion reaction in millions of degree temperature. China's East, China has also developed a machine called tokamak. They call it tokamak or the sun that they call, that is also a nuclear fusion reactor. These are the technological development that impacts Indian interest. Like vaccine development is also a technology that impacts Indian interest. Such kind of technology development that impacts Indian interest can also be asked in the civil service examination. Then government initiatives like scientific development, India has promoted research, R&D, India is investing in science and tech in any other way. What are the initiatives taken by government to promote science and technology in India? That can be the part of your syllabus, okay, for prelims examination. Then environment and ecology and disaster management not exactly in the prelims syllabus, but they can ask you question related to it, okay, which can fall in this bucket. Like in environment, you can ask about definition, international agreements, laws, protocols like Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, uh, Sustainable Development Agreements from starting from 1972, Rio Summit. They can talk about Rio plus 20, certain summits and agreements they can talk about. Then Rotterdam Convention. There are many conventions of different purposes. Okay, then biodiversity, their protection status. They can ask you a blue flag certification that is recently in the past 2 3 years has come into news. Coastal management zones India has. So in that India is also launch and they're also leveraging a part of the program that is called Blue Flag certification that is given by FEE, an organization from Denmark, for certain beaches which follow certain kind of guidelines and maintain those. So for them, they give Blue Flag certification. India has, I think, more than 18 or 20 beaches which India is having Blue Flag certification. Then what are the national parks, reserves, bioreserves, tiger reserves, certain extreme weather events like tsunami, cyclone, volcano. Weather events can be more like tsunami, cyclone, or you can also consider certain part of earthquake, then surge, storm surge, then eclipse, tides. Extreme weather event doesn't come under tides. Tides doesn't come under extreme weather event, but floods induced by tides. Then glacial lake outburst flood, like glacial lake due to melting of glacier. The wall of the glacier that is containing the glacial water breaks and it causes massive flood. Okay, such kind of things are happening. Extreme weather events that are mainly happening because of global warming and climate change. Specifically, cyclone is most disastrous. The disaster-related initiatives that India is taking, like India is taking initiative of coalition of disaster resilient infrastructure recently with the countries like Japan. India has also promoted Lost and Found Fund, sorry, Lost and Damaged Fund in COV 27. Such questions can be asked. Then groupings in the grouping that India is interested in, like India is interested in UNSC, okay, but not related to environment and ecology as such. They can be any groupings, okay. And laws and agreements I already talked about earlier, reports, index, etc. Like there are many reports like IPCC reports, sixth report IPCC came very recently, and then the state of forest report that India releases also, and there is also global state of forest report which lists out forest facts. Then there is IUCN report. Such as reports and index can also be facts given in those reports can also be important for your examination. Okay. Then common with general studies and essay. The quotes, case studies, facts, reports, examples, whichever you study in any of the above classification across all the subjects can be used for the essay and ethics paper in different topics under different heads. This was the common subjects, which are the first element of the integrated preparation. Then post that is about practicing question. How to practice question? Okay. The idea is you have to practicing questions after every topic preferable, whatever topic you are reading in a particular subject, like you are reading Constitution in Indian polity and Constitution, you have read fundamental rights. And try to practice fundamental rights specific question wherever you can find it. Okay. Then it is preferable. If you are finding it difficult to find question topic wise, then do it subject wise. Read polity and try to see polity question. Whatever you know, just answer them. Okay, or whatever you think you should be aware about, try to practice them. This is the idea. Okay, so why you should practice? The idea is, sir आपको बोल दिए you should practice, but why should I practice? Because it builds conceptual clarity. Okay, because as an UPSC aspirant, you need certain conceptual clarity to be able to give your best in the examination. Because if you don't have conceptual clarity, you might get confused while picking up the options. And prelims is about option, so that clarity should be there while picking up option. Okay, this is, I'm sure this is right. That can only come with conceptual clarity. Okay, allows you to apply knowledge, whatever you have read recently in a subject, that application can be done then and there. That gives you an idea. Okay, what is our strength and weakness that I talked about in the next point. That understand your strength and weakness with this. Okay, and get an idea of type of question. The more you practice, the more idea you can get. Okay, this question can be, this point can be asked in this way, in the match the column way, or they can ask you in the multiple statement way. Anything can be given. Okay, so such type of question you will be aware of can be asked. Then you can develop a sense of discipline and practice question more. If you don't practice, you every time you will be hesitant. Okay, I'll do it, or you will try to procrastinate about it. But once you start practicing every day, at least practice 5 to 10 questions. Okay, this will give you a sense of discipline. Okay, and also confidence also that okay, yes, I've done certain practice and I'm doing good. I'm doing good in the preparation. This also gives you motivation. Then get an idea of your approach. Whatever is your approach in your mind, unconsciously or consciously, you can test them then and there. When you practice questions, then you understand, okay, this was your approach, and here you went right, here you went wrong. your temperament for the examination, how it went in the real practice. Such things you can test and practice, and while only practicing questions, okay? So temperament in such questions. Get a sense of time you took. Suppose, as you might be aware, for prelims, for solving 100 questions, you are just getting 120 minutes. In practicing only you will get an idea, okay, you are taking more time now, you should increase your pace. Where you should increase your pace? You are reading, taking long time to read questions, or you're taking more time to think questions. After thinking, you're more taking more time to selecting options, or after selecting options you're taking more time to bubbling OMR. Where's the thing your time is going? Because in examination you have to do all these four things in a way, most optimized way, to get the best results, okay? So you should get a sense of where you are taking more time, that you should be taken and solve such questions, okay? To gauge progress, okay, you have done preparation, you are doing subject wise, but you should be aware that, okay, this is the thing I read, this is the knowledge I have, this is the knowledge I'm applying, and this is the marks I'm getting in practice. So this gives you a cycle of progress, okay? This is the, by doing such effort you are getting this result. So you get an understanding of your progress, and you can also better plan in the upcoming days with this practice sessions, okay, to optimize it further. And most importantly, to learn faster. You can learn in any method, okay? You can learn by multiple things, but the best way to practice for UPSC civil service examination and learn faster is by practicing more number of questions. That should be a thumb rule. As much question as you practice, that doesn't mean that you only practice, okay? That can be a reverse engineering method, but the idea should be, after doing a basic study and foundational study, practice is your only way that can take you a longer mile in going forward in this examination, okay? In the next theme, as you can see, we talked about this first topic, common themes. Now we talked about practicing question. Now we talk about making notes for analytical insights. Okay, this part. Now making notes of analytical themes. See, you have to first understand what are the subjects for which you specifically need some time to make notes for analytical themes. I don't prefer making notes much, but if you are making notes, since you might have multiple sources, ideally you should have one source, or you think by making notes you can make it easy for yourself to revise, then making notes is a useful thing. And especially if you're noting down quotes like I mentioned here, case studies, data, reports, facts, example, quotes, poetry lines, anything which is relevant for mains examination, and definitely they should form a part of your notes, okay? Then the subjects in which practice is needed of making notes, or you should basically make notes of certain important themes which you can use in the mains examination. Those subjects are Indian history, Indian polity, Indian economy, environment and ecology, and science and tech. These are the five subjects. If you follow holistically and interestingly to make analytical notes, then you are doing good. For example, in history, you should understand, make an analytical notes of economic policies of Britishers and how they impacted India, evolution of place in India, evolution of education in India. Then how, like in May 2022, they have asked a question that how that state formation of state started from the British time. So you should have answered this question from the doctrine of lapse, studying from doctrine of lapse, and how the Britishers started annexing states and forming different states. And the issue of state formation has started taking a root in India from that time, and it continued more after, much after, till independence, till the formation of Telangana in 2014. Still, there are many demands of states. Okay, so such kind of understanding themes, analytical themes, temporal themes are important in history. Okay, similarly in polity, there can be many conceptual questions. They can ask you about conceptual questions related to Article 19, untouchability, Article 18, Article 21. Then they can ask you about Article 25, 26, freedom of religion. Then they can ask you a question about DPSP. They can ask you about question about Panchayati Raj. They can ask question about Parliament, procedure of passing money bill, money bill, financial bill. Many other things are there. Executive devices, which they asked in Mains 2022 about executive devices. Such thing can be asked in polity. Similarly, for economy, they have many fundamental things. They can ask you about development, current development, fiscal deficit kind of thing. They can ask you for short notes. They asked, but they can ask you in economics such kind of things. Then environment and ecology, they can definitely ask you about chronology of events. They can ask you about how UNSCC is performing Kyoto Protocol or climate change agreements. They can ask any question. It's very difficult to predict what kind of question they can ask. It's just you should understand whatever topic you are reading. You should understand, is there any analytical aspect to it. If there's an analytical aspect to it, make a note of the theme first. Okay. If nothing else, you just want to note down themes for you, so that after prelims you should be aware that these are the themes in each of the subject. You save a lot of time to you, and you will definitely say thank you to you to yourself that you have done this exercise. Okay, this is the idea of making analytical themes note. Then the next topic is that allocating time for optional, as I talked earlier. See, why it is needed. First, why it is needed is that because if you give certain time before prelims na, as you are aware that there is less time, only 3 months to prepare, revise and collate everything in 3 months available between prelims and mains. And obviously much of the time in the initial 15 days till the result of the prelims come out, you'll be anxious that you are clearing prelims or not if you're in the borderline. Okay, if 2 3 marks 5 10 marks gap is also there, no, then still you will have a doubt that you might miss it, so you will have less energy to study. So simply basically it's a less time thing. Whatever strategy you have, whatever cool person you are, you might be studying till the prelims will come out. Okay, and if you are to clear this exam in one attempt, okay, if you are a person who is planning for next 2 3 years run, then it's not a problem. It will not be much trouble to you. But if you are planning to clear it in one attempt, then it will be trouble for you. Then optional is a game changer. Obviously, in UPSC you have 500 marks for optional in the mains examination. There is 1750 marks examination if you're aware of. After that, 500 marks is for optional. So if you do a good in optional, you have done a good job. You have high chances of getting in the merit list. Okay. Then balancing GS and optional is the only way forward. If you don't study optional now, then you will have difficulty in balancing GS and optional, which is the only way to clear the examination. So why not balance optional at the time of studying common subjects, which is also part of GS? Start balancing it right itself. Okay. Optional needs time. Many optionals are lengthy. Okay, like mathematics, it's a very lengthy optional. You need much time to not only to read the topic, to understand and absorb the concepts, practice questions. All those things needs time. Okay, so it's the first that is why you should start allocating time to optional right from the start itself. Okay, optional syllabus can be complex to understand. Okay, some syllabus are very complex. There can be different terms. As you know, in the UPSC notification, themselves they have mentioned that optional can be of level higher than the graduation level and less than the master's level. Okay, in the science subject it can be at the honors level also. So this is the idea. It can be complex to understand or it can be lengthy to complete, like mathematics I told earlier. Mathematics is a very lengthy optional. It can take to whatever, how much smart you are, how much dedicated you are. If you are studying regularly only mathematics, then also it will take you 6 months to complete the syllabus holistically with practice at least once. Then revision is there, will be left for you. So that's such kind of commitment and timing is required for completing mathematics optional. A comprehensive studying plan is needed. See, if you simply think that I will crack the prelims first, I will do only the common subjects and clear the prelims first, then you're not going long way. Okay. Obviously, you can clear the examination if you're lucky. Then also, ठीक है ना? But if you leave so much thing on the luck, okay, then either you are God gifted, I will say it again and again, or you are hero of a lucky movie. Okay, anything can go your way because whatever you do, you will get the examination. If you're not those person, work hard, work comprehensively, study comprehensively. This is the only way out, and this will give you confidence every day to crack the examination. Okay. Then allocating time for main specific subjects. Now here the question I'm trying to address is the what are the main specific subjects I'm talking about continuously. What are those main specific subjects which I'm talking about every time? So I'm giving you the subject name here. I've written is basically paper name GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, and essay, and what are the subjects that are specific to this paper which are not you might have not read in the prelims. Like in GS1 you have world history, post independent history, Indian geography. By mistaken I've written world history, it's geography only. Then resources and industries, then Indian society. These are the part of general study paper 1 mains which were not there in the prelims. Then in GS2 you have governance, international relations, sorry, governance, international relations, social justice. These are topics which are part of the only mains, not the prelims. Then GS3 you have internal security, disaster management, science and tech, a majority part of science and tech, like interest achievements of Indians and the global developments, which are in detail, like James Webb Telescope. They can ask you in prelims also, but a much detail. What are the objectives of James Webb Telescope? Like they asked in the mains 2022, and what are the vision? From 5 to 6 questions they have asked in the mains regarding James Webb Telescope in one question itself. It's a 15 marker thing. This kind of thing can be asked in science and tech. Then GS4 is completely new, ethics, integrity, and aptitude. It's more like self-understanding and self-evaluation of values, but still you need time to read some theory and practice some case studies for the examination. This will be the main specific thing which you will do for only for mains that are not needed for prelims. Like essay, understanding your style of essay writing is very essential to score more in essay examination and practice So these are main specific subjects that you need to study. That should be part of your integrated planning. Okay, like I mentioned earlier. But why is it needed? What is this is done? That why is it needed? Not by mistake I've written what, but why is it needed? Why you should allocate time for mains? Like for optional, these are reasons. Similarly for mains physics, most of the reasons are similar. You have less time after prelims and between mains and prelims. People tend to ignore them initially. Okay, you will be very much tempted. Okay, I'll just study polity, economy, and these things, geography, history. I'll not focus much on main specific subjects. I'll do it later. Okay, after prelims, but you tend to ignore it. Becomes a pain in the end. You'll be struggling to balance your time. Okay, you should avoid near exam anxiety for sure, and this can be only done if you follow such strategy. Okay, this will give you confidence that you are okay, you're doing good in the preparation, you're planning it well, you're following the right strategy, you're completing every subject slowly at a time. Okay, to timely make understanding of the subjects and make notes. Suddenly after prelims you start, if you pick up governance, okay, today I'll study governance and rationalization, it will be a tough task. These subjects like world history, international relation, governance, they seem very easy, but they're very difficult. There's a lot of things to study, and the cost to output ratio, like I have mentioned here, the subjects like world history have very low time to output ratio. You can also skip those subjects, but you never know. One day UPSC have a mind that okay, today let us make GS1 difficult. They give you 4 world history questions. Nothing can be said about UPSC. There's no thumb rule that UPSC will give only one question. Like in 2022, they haven't asked a question on world history. There are high chances they can ask more than one question in 2023 mains. So what can be said about UPSC? Nothing. So you should be at least be prepared about understanding about majority of things before prelims, and at least know the source where you will be studying them from. So that after prelims you don't waste time in collecting notes and understanding the syllabus of the subjects. Such kind of awareness should be well, and some kind of at least first reading should be done about such subjects before writing prelims. That can give you a lot of confidence going into the mains examination and less trouble, less pain in your eyes. Okay. Now, the other second last aspect of this strategy is to answer writing practice. Many people ask when to start writing answers. What is this answer writing thing all about? How to do it? What to do it? Simply, my answer is that when to start. In that, when to start is that you can start in the first day. Today, if you are studying UPSC preparation, today itself you can start writing answers. There is nothing wrong in it. If anybody says that you are foolish, you are wasting time, they are foolish. Okay, it's just up to you. It is up to you. You will slowly progress. Okay, the day you start answer writing is the day you start progressing. There is no such idea that you cannot start answer writing any day. It's just that people say to study something before answer writing is that you should aware about some facts, some figures, some way, some subject knowledge. So obviously you can also do that. You can also take time to study a subject and or a theme and then start writing answer. Or you can do it after completing 2-3 months of preparation. Suppose 2-3 months you're just collecting information and understanding subjects, getting the foundation clear. You can also do that because just understand that there is no effort that goes wasted in the examination until unless you are doing it without any method to it. Okay, if you are studying writing answer, just understand you are started now. Don't expect that you will write the best answer today. Okay, understand that you are going to do mistake. Do that mistake and learn from that mistake. This is the idea. Just think, okay, today I give you a topic, write about solar energy. Whatever random shit you will write, you will see that you will laugh on it in the next 1 month itself. Okay. So answer writing practice also take 2-3 months time to master it. Okay. At least 1 month time dedicatedly you need to master it. Okay. So it doesn't stand the judgment that you can do it. You should not do it until you complete the syllabus because that's the most dramatic blunder you will be doing for yourself. You can start it anytime you feel comfortable. The given condition should be that you should have time. Okay, but after prelims you should not compromise and write answer every day for sure. Okay, but before prelims, if you have written answer at least 100 questions, if you have written for the mains right before prelims, then you will be in a very good position to clear mains in the if you clear prelims. Okay, this is my word. Just note it down. This will help you to prepare. Okay, and like I mentioned, after prelim itself, this should be the last straw. If you're not starting writing answer after prelims also, then consider yourself most of the chances until you are gifted or you have some special luck power that whatever you have studied directly came in the paper. Until that time, just consider yourself out of the merit list. Okay, because answer writing is the most crucial part of the mains examination. Then why should I write answer? because it accustoms with the practice of writing answer. Until you write answers, you will not understand what is answer writing. I can tell you hundred of things about answer writing, but you will only understand and realize those things if you start writing answers. Okay, make you aware of the question type. Suppose in answer writing, you are still not aware what are the questions asked. You should understand by how you can understand those things, either by seeing previous year questions or by seeing mock questions. What the coaching is giving, like in IS Baba, they have a program called TLP. They share free questions every day. If you are practicing those, then just after the prelims, when you are preparing for mains, you will be in a much better position in writing any answer for mains examination. This is my practice that I simply have followed this method, and I have realized this potential of this method of writing answer. Okay, you will also understand how much you need to write. You will be giving 150 words to write 10 marker question, 250 words to write 15 marker question. You think that it will be very difficult. Some of you think it is very easy. I can write 1000 words like this only. But the idea is not to write 1000 words or 3000 words or 100 words. The idea is to use that word limit, 150 words, and the 7 minutes time. You will be given 7 minutes time to write 150 words. 7 minutes. In the 7 minutes, you have to think, you have to process, you have to write in a well legible handwriting in a pointed manner to make your point clear to the examiner in an interactive way and most engaging way that they can give you most marks. So such is the idea of answer writing. Okay, if you if you by any chance get late time after this video, I show and I also get some time. I surely prepare a video on answer writing, how you should write answers, and what are the key elements, what are the parameters that you can use to evaluate your answers yourself and improve. Such thing will definitely help you in improving. Okay, then make you this writing practice will make you aware about the time available. Like I mentioned earlier, 7 minutes for 150 words or 10 marker, and for approximately 9 minutes or 10 minutes or 11 minutes, you can say, for 50 marker question, 250 words. Handwriting, what kind of handwriting you are having? Do you need to practice your handwriting, improve your handwriting? Like I had a very bad handwriting. I also had to commit and some conscious decision I have to make to write answers to increase to better my handwriting. Okay, then what kind of pen you will be using? I struggled a lot to decide a pen, but obviously I settled for a pen 1 month before the examination or 2 months before the examination to be well accustomed with the writing of the pen I'm using. Your approach towards the paper. These all things can be cleared if you start writing answers. Okay, you'll understand your knowledge. Suppose you read a subject, but you have to test your knowledge, how much you have understood. Take an analytical question from any mock test or like a TLP or previous year question and try to write answer for that question. You understand, okay, you are understanding the concept or not. What kind of challenge you are facing while answering such kind of questions that is asked in the exam or that can be asked in the examination. Okay, then the most important idea of writing answer is to overcome the first resistance. Whatever thing new you start in life, you face the first resistance from yourself itself. Okay, that okay, will I be able to write, should I write, will I be wasting time, what is wrong happening to me, I don't know what to do. This is the resistance that you're procrastinating, you're delaying your efforts just to make yourself comfortable. Okay, but this comfort will obviously cause discomfort in the later stage of your life. Okay, the idea is simply to overcome this first resistance and write your answer however worse it can be, the worst answer in your life, let it be the worst answer in your life, but just write it. The idea is you should write it. Okay, and this practice will also help you gain a sense of discipline. Suppose you're writing two answers every day in this month of November, December, till January, February. Till February you can go about writing answers. Suppose you're writing answers every day, two answers, just two answers. Just imagine 120 days or 90 days will be in two answers. You might have completed writing 180 questions, and this puts you very much ahead of your competitions right before the prelims examination. When you enter, you clear the prelims examination, and you've written the prelims examination, you will be already here, while most of the aspirants will be here. So this is the practice you need. This is the achievement that you can have while writing answer writing practice. Okay. Then the revision. This is the last and then the most crucial part of the whole preparation. As I mentioned, this is the part that makes preparation in integrated preparation is the revision. Ideally and theoretically, that most people desire and want to achieve is that you revise daily. But I suggest and I feel, since I find it very much boring, and like most of the aspirants who find it boring, it practically the idea is you should do it as much as possible. How you can do that? Because the fact is that it is necessary and the must. You cannot ignore it. Without revision, just forget about clearing the examination until you have photographic memory like Swami Vivekananda. Okay. Until you have photographic memory or you are very good in connecting facts, then otherwise you can skip revision. Otherwise, you should do revision. Okay. how should be done, and how like written practically as much as possible, then how you can do it as much as possible. The idea is you should not take stress. Don't take revision as a task. Think of it something like a hobby. Okay, like suppose you're sitting, you're watching a window, or you're doing nothing. You're just feeling comfortable after having a lunch or having a dinner. Just be easy and comfortable. Okay, don't have any baggage and pressure of revising. Suppose you are sitting on a table after having lunch, you are having a free time, or you are watching a video. If you think you have some time, at least in the mind, then just think of a topic. Like what I used to do, I should think of an interesting topic. Like I was to think about India UK relation, or suppose I am thinking about climate change, then I'll think about COP, current affairs, or like sorry, agreements, a chronology. Like I've made a chronology for myself from 1972 starting till the very end. What are the events and happenings in the climate change arena? Then, if I could have made a list of protocols and agreements, what like Kyoto Protocol has been made, then Paris Agreement has been made. What are the provision under them? I will practice just step by step. Or suppose this is called mental revision part. And suppose you have pen and paper and you're sitting alone and you have nothing much to do, but you are bored with the things, continuously reading new things. Just start drawing a flowchart. Write a theme and start doing a flowchart. Like you talk about health issues in India. Write a topic, health issues in India. Write 10 issues. Okay, from your mind. Think from your mind. Write 10 solutions. Okay, this is the thing. This is the kind of preparation you need, and such kind of revision if you do without consciously revising certain things, then also you can do it very easily. Okay, this is the practicality of revision. Okay, if you keep feeling bored by revision, then this is the practicality of revision. Keep your notes in front, or whatever things you have prepared for yourself in the front. Just take the topic and revise. Okay, after one or two revision, you will be so much comfortable while roaming on the floor, or while walking on the street. Whatever time you will have, you start revising in a way that is the most beneficial for you to clear this examination. Okay, so this is it, guys. This is the whole integrated plan strategy which I prepared for yourself. For more such videos and guidance, please follow Simply Learn, subscribe to Simply Learn. I'll also share additional videos in this series to help. This was just the next 6 months plan for you, to help you, an approach and template for you to follow, to check yourself, evaluate yourself, what is the situation you are in, what are the priority you should give based on situation you are in, the how you should complete current affairs, what is integrated preparation, and how you can integrately prepare in the upcoming 6 months. This is the whole about it. I hope you liked it. If you liked the video, subscribe to Simply Learn. Best wishes for examination and keep studying hard.